Well, Nigel Farage is preparing to outline his road to Downing Street today as Reform UK begins its 2025 conference. Joining me now is News Corp Europe correspondent and Sky News contributor Sophie Elsworth, who's in Birmingham at the conference today. Sophie, thank you for joining me. What can we expect?
Well, great to be with you, Danica, on this glorious day here in Birmingham. So the two-day Reform Conference is set to kick off in about an hour or so. There's heavy security presence around the centre here with expected protests here in the UK. But Nigel Farage is set to address the conference, explaining his road to what he hopes to be Downing Street. He's come out and said that he expects there could be an early election here in the UK. There's one due in 2029, but he thinks it could come earlier. Look, Reform UK, Danica, this time last year they had about 80,000 members, and now they're up to 240,000 members with more than 450 branches across the UK. They are growing at a rapid pace and they are surging in the polls. They have all the momentum here in the UK, and this is their national conference where Nigel Farage and many of his staff and alike are hoping to really get this messaging across to the British public that they are a force here and that they really are serious about trying to win the next election.
Well, they're performing so well in the polls. I saw that Reform has risen to as high as 35% recently. And I've got to ask you about this because former Tory MP Nadine Dorries has announced she's defecting to Reform, and she had this warning. Have a listen.
This is probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my life. It's something I've been thinking about for over a year. The Tories are dead, they're gone. It's a slow and painful death. I'm looking at what they're doing, I'm listening to what they're saying, and I can't believe that people are listening.
So, Sophie, how significant is this? She thinks the Tories are done.
It's extremely significant, Danica, because she was Culture Secretary in the Tory government. She was an MP for 18 years. She's very well known here in the UK. She's written books. She's got a column in the Daily Mail. She was front and centre in Boris Johnson's government and a key ally of his. And to defect now to Reform is extremely significant. And it shows that they are trying to get politicians that have credentials, politicians with experience, because that has been one of the attack points by Nigel Farage's, people who are trying to bring him down by saying, look, you don't have experience in your party. Well, Nadine Dorries definitely has it. So her making this move is very significant for Reform UK.
Now, I've got to ask you about this, Sophie. An investigation has been launched after a mobile phone was hidden in the Commons as part of a prank to broadcast sex noises during Prime Minister's questions. What's happened here?
Well, the British love a sex scandal, and this is one that's certainly drawn attention here, Danica, because a mobile phone was placed underneath the Commons table where during question time, Sir Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch go head-to-head, and the idea was that someone would bring this phone and it would have the sounds of sex noises during when they were going to give, their responses in Parliament. Now, this was found by security before this whole thing unfolded and turned into an embarrassing situation. And now there is a very serious investigation underway of how this happened and who planted this device, Danica.
My goodness. I mean, seriously, anything's possible in the UK. I look at the UK and go, what on earth is going on? And then you hear a story like this and it just adds to that as well. Sophie Elsworth, a lovely day in Birmingham, as you said. Thanks very much for joining me on the show this evening. Appreciate it.